Thank you so much for coming onto the podcast, Dave. You are known as Flat Earth Dave, and I have definitely checked out your Instagram and kind of seen what you're about. And I really love your content because you bring the flat Earth concept to us in a way that is friendly, that's not like you have to believe this, but you actually give really informative facts. And that's something that I really appreciate because I grew up in like Christianity and kind of conditioned to just seriously believe that um, the earth is round. And so this is actually slightly uncomfortable conversation for me too. And so for the listeners, I just want to encourage you to just kind of have an open mind as we just have a conversation about this, because it's not about like trying to convert you, but it's trying, but
So much
having a
to unpack
conversation.
there. So much to
Yes.
unpack there.
Yes. But
First,
welcome.
thank you so much. Every flat earther has the same story. When we first heard about it, we immediately looked down upon the person that told us. We thought they were an idiot, and we refused to open our minds and look, because this is decided science, right? There's a million proofs for the globe and none for flat earth. And then when we're forced to look, whatever it was that makes us look, take an honest look, not a Google look, because you Google, you're going to get fed nonsense. And once you look, you can't turn away. And then you said you were brought up Christian. The Bible is a flat earth book. We have there's over 200 verses in the Bible from page 1 in Genesis. God separated the waters from the waters and created the firmament, right? Once you understand what that means, it's no way out. And thank you for saying I bring forward facts and information, and I'm not here to force you to become a flat earther, but I am here. I'm not going to force you. I'm going to show you enough stuff to where you can make up your own mind. Right. And I have a saying is, you can lead a man to knowledge, but you can't make him think.
Yeah. Same thing as a horse to water.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really interesting, Dave, because I've been just exposed a little bit to this, and part of what I've been exposed to is the concept of kind of both and. But even before we get into that, if you want to share just kind of what you mean by flat, because a lot of people have different definitions of what flat means, and I think that can be helpful.
Yeah, so the term flat earth has been weaponized. The earth is not flat. We have hills and valleys and trenches, and it's a topographical plane, and large bodies of water. The science of water is it lays flat when at rest. And so if we lived on a ball, they tell us the ball is 24,901 miles around. There is physical curvature, and it blocks. You can't see my mouth right now. No matter what, I can zoom in, you're still not going to see my mouth. Because there's a physical curvature. The problem is there is no physical curvature. There is no hard, fast horizon past beyond where the geometrical measurements of the earth would require you to have a horizon. We can see farther. We'll get into that. So the one thing that globe believers have in common, two things, is one, they don't know their own model. Because we go around and we ask 3 simple questions, and we offer $200. There's a bunch of guys that do this. They go out on the beach, boardwalk, $200 to answer 3 questions about the globe, and you have nothing to lose. So let's do it with you. And by the way,
oh God,
most people get them all wrong. The first one is super easy. How many times does the globe rotate in one day?
Yeah, see, I don't even know that.
It's once. It's once a day.
Oh, is it once a day?
It's once a day. If you thought about it, here's the thing. Everyone's so afraid they even give up on the ones that they know the answer to.
It's true, because the sun rotates around.
Yeah. Well, you're right. The sun does rotate around, but on the heliocentric model, the globe model, we're spinning and the sun looks like it's moving, right, but we're the ones that are moving. Although every test ever that has been done to prove axial rotation or curvature has proven the opposite, but they don't teach you that in school. God forbid. Okay. And then the other questions you're not going to get right. How fast are we orbiting the sun? How fast are we chasing the sun? How far is the sun? You don't know any of those. So globe believers don't even know their own model, because if they knew a quarter or an eighth or a tenth of what flat earthers know about the globe, they would be flat earthers, because they're like, wait a minute. Why do I believe this, right?
Hello, Soulish Tribe. So I know that I'm not alone and always feeling thirsty. Even though I hydrate throughout the day, I'm always feeling that I need more water, especially after those cycling classes. My friends James and Mark over at Zaka have the perfect solution. Zaka's Hydration and Liverade is the #1 recovery and hydration solution for working out, jet lag, or drinking, maybe just a little too much. Zaka uses herbs such as Japanese raisin as well as other natural and fermented ingredients that are safe and without artificial flavors. Zaka is unique because it doesn't just replenish what your body needs, but also supports your body's natural ability to recover. It's 2 very, very yummy and berry chewable tablets that you can put under your tongue or chew up and swallow. Go to Zaka.com, that's ZACA.com, and use promo code SOULISH15 to get 15% off of your order.
And then the other thing is they have a false idea of what flat Earth is, right? So they're believing in a lie, the globe model, and then they believe, oh, flat Earthers think that we're a pancake and the other planets are round, or the other planets are pancakes. We don't believe any of that. We don't believe any of that. And anytime, a mainstream news source does something on flat Earth, they show you this little turn up. Okay.
Right.
This is from the Flat Earth Society. Google flat Earth. You'll end up with here. Okay. You'll end up with this type of image. No flat earther believes this. Only globe believers that have done zero research think that flat Earth believers believe this. That sentence alone made most people's minds work more to understand it than they're willing to do to understand where they live. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Because in this world, right? One of my co-host friends, flat earthers, Jaron from the Jaronism channel, he always says, if you want to be rich, invent something that makes people lazier. Okay? Because people love being lazy. It's like fast food. You don't have to shop. You don't have to cook. You don't have to clean. Fast food, right? How can you make people lazier for fast food? Well, how about make them not get off the couch? DoorDash. They'll deliver the fast food to you, right? Billion-dollar idea. Okay.
Yeah.
It's unreal, right? I've created an app. We'll talk about that later. That makes researching flat Earth easier. I made it lazy for you, so you'll actually do it, and then you'll join the flat Earth cult. Okay,
there you go.
Not a cult; it's a flat Earth truth.
I kind of, for those who are listening and not viewing this on YouTube, I want to kind of quickly describe the picture that you have behind you because it's from CNN, but it shows kind of like if you were to slice almost like the Earth in half or like the top of the Earth, right? And so it's like you have like dirt underneath, but it's like this circular disc that kind of shows you like it's the same globe concept, like it's not square. And then it looks like it almost has like a glass ceiling over it. Like that would be kind of like the atmosphere, right?
The dome. So,
dome.
We believe that there is some sort of containment. I don't believe that space is a vacuum, a void, no pressure. I don't believe that. But if it was, we would need a physical barrier. One of the second law of thermodynamics says, oh my God, he's talking about physics. This is easy. You can't have high pressure next to low pressure or no pressure without a physical barrier, right? They have the NASA has a vacuum chamber here on Earth. That's the strongest vacuum chamber ever. They can't get it completely evacuated, like space is supposedly, but they can get it pretty darn close. And the walls on that are like 10 feet thick of steel and reinforced concrete. Okay, so they don't implode when you suck the air out.
Got it.
But somehow we can be on this pressurized, we live on a rock which has water on the outside, curved water, okay? And it has curved air around that adjacent to a void, a vacuum, space.
Doesn't quite make sense.
That's scientifically impossible. That makes no sense.
When you break that down, that makes make sense.
No sense whatsoever. And people go, well, gravity's holding the air down, okay? Gravity. Gravity's holding the air down. So look, I'm holding up an uninflated balloon and it's hanging down because of gravity. How come gravity isn't stretching it down to the ground? Because gravity's so strong, right? Now, if I blow this balloon up, Why is it expanding in every direction? Because the air is trying to fill it's trying to equalize. It's trying to go up, sideways, down, left, right, forward, backwards. It's trying to go everywhere.
It's filling.
Right.
Yeah, filling it up.
So the
Yeah.
pressure of the air trying to equalize is stronger than gravity because it's able to stretch the balloon. Okay. If I went up higher, farther and farther away from Earth, this balloon would get bigger and bigger and bigger because the air would be trying to escape. And if there's a void, a vacuum of space, it would pull all the air away.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
It is, because it's like adding in these simple concepts and simple, like, just basics. And it makes you rethink, like, how you think about how the earth is contained and what it even looks like. So it's really interesting. I don't know so much about, like, I just know what I've been taught about space, and that you, like, can't breathe, there's no oxygen, right? You would just, like, blah, like,
There's no
implode,
pressure.
whatever.
There's no
Right.
air. There's no
Right.
there's no nothing.
Nothing. It's
So,
completely void. So then how is the air that is containing Earth then not just squeezing us, right? Like, how does a planet stay
well,
squeezed together as a planet if it's circular?
so
If there's no pressure around it, how does that work?
so the story of the Big Bang, made up by a Jesuit priest, not by a scientist, made up, right? Once upon a time, there was nothing, and then it exploded and became everything. Cool story. I'll just give them that. Let's not even get into where did it all come from. And then,
Interesting. Jesuit. You said
yeah,
Jesuit, and that was
yeah,
like, why
yeah.
Jesuit?
That's the priest who made it up, who came
Mhm.
up with it. Okay.
Very interesting.
All of the rocks started bumping into each other, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna stay next to this rock." And then it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's like, "Oh, wait, I've got gravity now," and it started pulling in all of the other matter to create this spinning ball of Earth with all of its organic matter and everything weird. And then somehow the gases, there was gas everywhere, helium, hydrogen, everything, and they started collapsing in on themselves to create much bigger balls, so big that the gravity caused them to turn into nuclear furnaces and burst, and light up in flames.
Hmm.
And they left a void of no pressure in between. So now we have burning balls of gas floating in a void, holding on to other rocky balls. Okay. I'm showing a graphic here, which is showing our solar system, and we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. We're orbiting at 66,000 miles an hour, and we're chasing the sun because it's trying to run away at 500,000 miles per hour. So we're corkscrewing through space, never to return to where we were before, traveling 4.4 billion with a B miles a year. But somehow, if you go out tonight and take a picture of the stars, and then next year, same night, same time, go out and take a picture from the same spot, every star will be in the exact same position. Does that make any sense to you?
No, I was actually immediately going to ask that. So if we're actually moving through space, how is it that the constellations, right, are our actual universe containing
Never
within
change.
all the universes, right? We've seen the NASA picture of, like, I don't even know how many tiny little universes which look like individual stars. How does that work?
Yeah, so we have we had the Hubble telescope, and now we have the James Webb telescope. James Wood, sorry about that. James
Okay.
Webb telescope. Have you looked at any of those images?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
they're
looked
pretty
at
cool.
least. They're really cool. But
Yeah,
that
so they're
makes
really cool.
no sense with what you just said.
But
Like,
I'm
if we're moving.
right. So for those of you watching, I'm using a program called not Calendly. I'm called Carvana on my phone, and I'm creating an image that looks better than what James Wood is proposing to us. It's got galaxies, it's got nebulas, it's got all sorts of stuff in it. Okay. And I
Huh.
showed these pictures mixed in with real James Webb pictures, sorry about that. And people can't tell which ones are real. I mean, if you look at the nonsense that NASA shows us, it's absolutely ridiculous. If you look into the launch and where James Webb is going, It's, you know where it's parking itself? 1 million miles away, closer to Earth, far from the sun, where the gravities are equal. You know how, like, um, if you had a strong magnet and a weak magnet, you could find a point somewhere, closer to the weaker magnet where it would be pulling equally from both sides. You know what I mean? That's called
Mhm.
the Lagrange point. Okay. It's a made up thing. And that satellite just went and parked itself there. And so even though we're corkscrewing through space, speeding up and slowing down, getting 3.5 million miles closer to the sun during our northern winter, weird, and 3.5 million miles farther during our summer, somehow that satellite just stays right on that Lagrange point. Okay. It's moving like 800 miles an hour towards the sun and away from the sun all year long.
Hmm.
Okay. And somehow it just magically stays in this made up Lagrange point. When you actually look and think and use your God-given senses, you find out that all of this is absolute and complete and total nonsense. Right? You saw the
Interesting.
picture of the distant sun that NASA released. Some guy at NASA released this picture. You're looking at it, right? Cool, right? It's a slice of chorizo sausage, and everyone believed it was a sun.
No way.
It's a slice of sausage. Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So crazy. So crazy. And
Ah,
when you look at, and this I'm showing you the Lagrange point. So somehow the James Webb is like here and it's equally pulled by the sun, but then other time, the 6 months later, it's much
yeah.
closer. Okay, this little exaggeration. It's absolutely different. It's moving 810 miles per hour, trying to keep up with the changing distance.
Wow.
Okay, trying to keep staying that. It's made up nonsense. And you know what the problem is? Most people just like, I can't figure it out. I can't think that way because you weren't taught to think. You were taught to memorize and regurgitate and get an
Right.
A. If you're a
Right.
good regurgitator, you get straight A's, you can teach the next generation the same nonsense.
Right.
Okay.
So is this something that I just want to clarify? This is something that you don't agree with. Like you don't believe that we're moving like that. Is that
Flat Earth is stationary. It
it's
does
stationary, we're
not
not moving.
It does not move. If you look at I was showing you all those distances we go. And for those of you listening, Google hypersonic sled track test. And you're gonna see this video that I'm showing, and this rocket sled goes by at Mach 8.6. Mach
Yeah.
8.6. That's 8.6 times the speed of sound.
I didn't
So
even see it. Has
you
it
can't
gone
even
yet?
you can't so you can't
Yeah.
even fathom this speed, let alone twice this speed. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So imagine we're on a rock surrounded by water, surrounded by air, and we are flying around the sun 10 times faster than this, and we're chasing the sun 100 times faster than this, speeding up and slowing down and spinning the whole time. But when we go out into nature, what do we see? We see
Total.
perfectly flat, calm, on a nice calm day. I'm showing pictures of a mountain lake, right?
Yeah.
What does that tell you? What do these pictures tell you? What's going on here? Is this container moving? The container that's holding the water? Large bodies of water need a container. They need lateral pressure. Get rid of the lateral pressure on your bathtub, right? Which
Right.
are the sides of the bathtub. The water's gone.
Right.
Okay.
Very
So
interesting.
nature always tells the truth. Men lie. Okay. And I could show you that NASA's lying. Okay. And if
Hmm.
I show you that they're lying once, faking space, you can unwind it till we never went to the moon and they're just a Hollywood studio. Okay. So people, I don't have a degree. Where's the peer reviewed papers? Peer review is the way they do all this.
Right.
Everyone that's peer
Which
reviewed, they're the ones
isn't.
that are being funded, right?
Right.
And if you go against peer review, you're not peer reviewed and you're kicked out and you lose your funding. So it's all absolute and total nonsense. So
Peer
what is
reviewed doesn't mean it's factual. That's the
no,
hard truth about
yeah,
it, but yet that's the way that we like fact check, but that's
yeah,
not that doesn't make it factual just
right.
because multiple people within a similar industry or organization are reading your paper and saying, yeah, I agree too. That doesn't mean that it's true.
Right. So how can I relate this lake to what the flat earth is? And this is interesting, right? So they tell us Antarctica is a continent at the bottom of the ball, right? There's no
Yeah.
high altitude videos or pictures or video of the interior of Antarctica. It's all cartoons. Okay. Well, why? Why are they hiding Antarctica? And there's some really funny stuff on Google Earth. If you go on the web version of Google Earth, you can draw a square box, a rectangular square, whatever, a box around any island, any continent, any part of a continent. It'll tell you the
Yeah.
square miles, right? But if you do it around Antarctica, it turns into a crescent moon and it won't let you measure Antarctica or the North Pole. The two places they don't want us knowing what's going on. Okay.
Mhm.
So what is the flat earth? So think about this. What is when it rains, water accumulates in a puddle. Where does it accumulate? At the top of a hill?
No, bottom.
At the bottom. And what's stopping the water from running away out of the puddle?
It would be that there's that container. There's
There's
somewhere for
land.
it to be contained. Yeah.
There's land higher than the surface of the water all the way around. Lower
Right.
part of it, and now you have a stream that will run away. Okay. A pond is a bigger puddle. A lake is a bigger pond. The world oceans are a giant lake. Okay. So we live in this lake. And all of the continents and islands are surrounded by water, but all of the water is surrounded by land that is higher consistently. Guess what the highest land on Earth is? Did you know that the continent of Antarctica is the highest land on Earth? It's the highest continent on Earth.
No.
It's because it's not a continent. It is the shoreline of our world.
That's nuts.
It's the shoreline of our world. Okay. And if you go to Antarctica, what they tell you is Antarctica, there's the land, the ice wall, not like the Game of Thrones. This is a shoreline with a raised continent. It is the container of our pond.
Huh.
What's beyond Antarctica? That might be the question that you want to ask, right? So the map, the Gleason's map was in all the libraries and all the schools until the late 1950s. And then it was, I think, in 1959 or something, it was removed. This is the map that is used for navigation. This is the map that's used for airlines. This is the map that's used for war planning. Okay. This is the map that all flight routes make perfect sense on. The globe is the one that doesn't make any sense at all. Okay. So, where is I going with that? So the question is, well, if Antarctica is here, well, what's out past Antarctica? Now, nobody is allowed to go beyond 60 degrees south. Okay. 60 degrees south. That's over 1,000 miles from Antarctica. If you cross into that, you will be intercepted. Jet fighters, warships.
No way.
Absolutely. And it's been
Has
done.
that actually happened and it's been documented?
Yes. On flatearthdave.com, go to there's a movie called The Next Level. I happen to be in it. It's a great movie. If you're new to this, you'll love the movie.
I'm gonna have to watch.
You can get it's in the crash course. You can download a high def copy if you want to support for $5, I think it is, but you can get it for free. If you don't, it's fine. And then that's one of the scenes in there. And literally there's no possible way that you can watch that one movie and walk away going, yep, the rest of the globe. You're going to be like, I've got a million questions. And that's good. You shouldn't just believe anything I'm telling you, right? This is a map that was found in Hawaii, like in a Buddhist monk. It was 10 centuries old. And it shows, here we are. It shows the shoreline of Antarctica. Then it shows like 30 or 40 other continents outside of Antarctica. Okay. Outside of Antarctica. So if you want to go to Antarctica, you can go to Antarctica. It's going to cost you $10,000 to $50,000 to $80,000 to go for 3 days. So they kind of price it so nobody, the average person can't go. Right. But if you go on a boat, you leave from South America, Santiago, and you travel quite a distance and you land. What if this is what they're telling us Antarctica is? If you landed in the middle of this, you wouldn't know that it's an island. Well, it's really a continent. Look at it. it's bigger than the United States and Canada combined. Okay.
Right.
It's gigantic. So if you pulled up to it, they're like, this is Antarctica. You wouldn't even be able to circumnavigate it because it's so friggin' big.
Right.
Okay. I mean, maybe you could, right? But the problem is it's cold out here. All of this could be frozen. Okay. Let me show you what I mean by that.
Why would it be cold?
Great question. Great question. So let me explain how this works. So this is my app. It's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. This is the one that I make you lazier because I did all the work.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So on the map, if you look carefully, this outer yellow line is the Tropic of Capricorn, and the inner yellow line is the Tropic of Cancer. You've heard those tropics,
Yeah.
yes, the zodiacs. I know. Why do they pick out those two? Why don't they have the Tropic of Pisces or Leo?
Of
Right?
spicy Pisces and
Spicy Pisces, right? So our sky, we live in a giant clock. The sun is the hour hand. It goes around once a day. Wherever it is, it's noon, right? I'm showing you right now. It's
Right.
noon in, Eastern Africa. It's noon in Central Africa. It's noon in West Africa, right? And now the sun is coming. I'm here in New York, Connecticut, and it's approaching and the sun is rising. But so I'm going to jump the sun forward to December. And in December, it's over the Tropic of Capricorn. It's out over the outer south. What happens when a light that's above you in the sky stays at the same height, like a street light,
Yes.
but moves down the street? It looks lower,
Yeah.
farther away. That's
Yeah.
why in the winter, where are you located?
I'm located in Denver.
Okay. So in the winter, the sun is lower in the sky and it's cold because it's farther away. So it's new. It's summer in Australia because the sun goes directly over Australia. Okay. And now if I jump forward 6 months and the sun is in June is over the Tropic of Cancer. And it goes right over Miami. It's hot in Miami. It's warm in Denver because the sun is pretty close. It's never directly above you because it's still down the street a little bit if you're comparing it to street lights. Okay.
Yeah.
If you and I were, let's say I came to Denver and in February and it's frozen and you and I are sitting outside 20 feet apart because we have to social distance. We won't get into that. Okay.
No.
And we're both freezing. And somebody's got a heat lamp on a 15-foot pole and they walk over to you and they hold it directly above you. This big heat lamp. It's radiating down heat. You're like, that's
Right.
warm. And you take off your coat. And I say, hey, are you warm? And you're like, yeah. I'm like, it must be summer where you are. Where's the sun? And you go, it's right there, directly above me. And I'm looking over at you. I'm like, I see it over there, about 45 degrees off of my horizon.
Right.
I'm cold. I can barely feel the heat. Now that person walks over to me. They take 6 months to come over to me. Okay. We're on opposite tropics. Okay. And as they're walking over to me, I watch that sun rise higher and higher and higher. And I'm getting warmer and warmer and warmer. And you're watching it go away. And it's getting lower and lower, just like streetlights going away. Okay. That's how seasons work. The idea that we're tilted away from the sun during the winter and tilted towards it during the summer and the direct rays, that makes no sense because what about sunrise in June? Sunrise in June, the sun is at the most severe tilt it could be. It's on the friggin' horizon. It's not tilted 34 degrees. It's tilted 89.9 degrees. Okay. But in the summer in Denver, as well as here in Connecticut, I could feel the heat immediately. I could take off my shirt. I could lay down. It's beautiful out, right? But in the winter, in December, at solar noon, which is the sun's highest point in the sky, still low. It's still not directly above me because it's winter. I can look up at the sun and I can't even feel the heat. Right? In the middle of the winter, you're outside, you're bundled up, you got the sun's in the sky, you're looking at it, you still need your scarf, glove, and hat and coat. Right. Okay.
It's still cold.
Did you know in the heliocentric model that the sun is 3.5 million miles closer to you in your winter? Everything is opposite and backwards and ridiculous. And the Globers will be like, oh, that's only a 2.5% difference in its total distance. So it really makes no difference. It's the angle that matters. I used to believe that. But it makes no sense at sunrise.
Yeah.
Sunrise, I could feel the heat. Noon in December, I can't feel the heat. Much more direct angle.
Yeah.
Seasons prove. So how do I make you lazy? If you want to learn about seasons, hit the frequently asked question button, the question mark, and up comes a list of every question you're going to ask. Hey,
Okay.
what about seasons? Boom. Click that, and up comes all the videos that YouTube is hiding from you that they don't want you to see. These videos won't show up in a search because they don't want you to see the truth. Watch the videos, use your God-given common sense, go out and do experiments yourself, make up
Mm-hmm.
your own mind.
It's really interesting because I just always thought that seasons were because, I mean, yes, I know or suspected it was from, the planets, right? Mostly the sun. But I just thought that it was like a pattern of airflow for whatever reason. But that now I'm kind of like, what was I thinking that's
So
made it cold, like
yeah,
because it's
they,
freezing
they
right now in Denver. And so how is
if,
that,
if
I just thought it was like air patterns.
because that's what I'm saying. Global, you're taught nonsense, and your mind
Yeah.
can't make sense of it. So here's the United States, and when I tilt it towards the sun, we have a direct angle. So there's our summer. And then when we're tilted the other way, well, that light has to spread over a bigger area. Okay. And that's why we have our winter. That's what they say. And even though during our winter the sun is closer, it doesn't matter because it's still spread out. Yeah. Well, what about during sunrise when the sun is right on the horizon? That is the worst angle possible. As I
Yeah.
said, in June at sunrise, it's hotter than noon in December.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
That
very
alone,
interesting.
seasons prove the earth is not a ball and that the sun is small and local.
Yeah. So Dave,
Yeah.
I have a question. It's burning.
Shoot.
It's burning in my brain.
Go.
So I don't know how much you believe or, have done research since you're kind of in the conspiracy-ish theory world, right? Of like the
I'm in
the
the
taboo-y.
truth
There
critical
you go.
thinking world.
I knew
Okay.
you were going to say something like that.
So wait, people go, I don't believe in conspiracies. Definition of a conspiracy: two or more people getting together,
Yeah.
planning for their own benefit. Does that ever happen?
No.
No.
Not with
You
me.
could argue that you and I are in a conspiracy right now to do a podcast for
Right. Yeah.
ourselves, okay, to
Yeah.
benefit ourselves, okay.
They've made that word so evil. But
Good.
I think like it's just really interesting because in this world, I don't know how much you know about like the Illuminati, the elite, whatever, all of that. Because I guess the follow-up question is, why is this being hidden? What about this is not for the public, or shouldn't be disclosed? How does having the flat earth model more like I guess empower us more or make us more free thinkers, free livers, that we're out here living life and exploring the world. Like why is someone or a group of people preventing us from exploring the planet that we are on? Like for me, I'm like there I can fly to any of these other countries. Why is it that I could be past Antarctica point and be picked up by somebody jets, right? Prevented from continuing on. Like that makes no sense. That's my right as a human being is what we would think, right? To like explore the planet that you are on. And we've even glorified that, um, whether it's been pilots that have done the whole rotation, right? They've flown all around the world versus the people that have sailed across the world, right? Like I feel like it's been like, yes, like the first woman to fly all over the world, or this person to sail the whole oceans and explore, right? But yet if you go beyond a certain point, that's not allowed. Like that just for me, that makes me go, why? Why
Yes.
is it
Well,
not allowed?
let's get into that. But first, since you brought up circumnavigation,
Yeah.
let's talk about that. So first thing is, when we're talking about Antarctica, Captain Cook is the last person that tried to sail all the way around Antarctica, and he ended up going like 68,000 miles and took him 3.5 years. Okay.
Mm.
Well, the equator is only 24,000 miles around. Antarctica is only 13,000. How did he go almost 3 times the width of the equator? right?
Right.
But all the way around. Okay. And they don't
So he's
want
like
us to know that.
following the edge, and
Following the edge,
the edge never stopped. The
right?
edge never went away.
Yeah, but people say, well, what about like Amelia Earhart and
Right.
you know, that makes no sense. So first you have to understand what circumnavigation is. Okay. At the center of the flat earth pond, we have magnetic mountain, Mount Meru. Okay. And I got a compass here and the needle's pointing towards the north. I'm trying to push this compass west. What's it doing?
It
I
keeps
have to
moving.
keep turning to maintain
Yeah.
west. I'm going exactly west. Now I'm going to go east, 90 degrees. So I'm looking at my compass and I'm just going east. I'm going in a circle around the magnetic north. Does this prove the earth is flat? No. Does it prove it's a globe? No. It works on both. Okay.
Yeah.
But if I try to go dead wrecking west, so I get myself set, I'm looking west. Now I take my eyes off the compass and I just go straight. I'm heading south. South is every direction away from the center. South is when north is behind you. So if north is in the middle, whenever you walk towards the edge, you're going south. Okay. If I go south, I should pop up on the other side of the world. If I go south, I should pop up here. If I go south from Santiago, I should pop up in Australia. Nobody has ever done that. Billions and billions and billions of people have gone east and west circumnavigating the world, but nobody has done it west. Amelia Earhart, she went to all of these places. Well, I forget which way she went, but if she went east, this is east, and she's back to where she started. Or if she went this way, it's west. She's basically going due west or due east the whole time.
Right. Not literally west, east, north,
a
south.
compass only works on a flat plane. When you're in the southern hemisphere, how does your compass not point towards the ground if it's looking for the North Pole? How come your compass doesn't point towards the magnetic South Pole? Because you can get a magnet and hold the south side towards the compass or the north side, and it will point to both of them.
Interesting.
Okay?
So if you have the north and south pole, that doesn't change anything. Like the magnetic pole.
There is no way to use a compass on a round Earth, on a spherical Earth. Okay. So
that's very interesting.
Yeah. So why the lie? Well, first, NASA gets $69 million every single day. Well, that's money they're taking from us. They're also taking 69, 64, whatever. I think it was 69, though. I think that's what it came out to. Okay. And what are they doing with that money? What have they done for mankind? What have they done? Nothing. Right? Except show us women with long hair floating on the space station. Wait a minute. Why are they allowing women with long hair to go into this weightless environment for months on end where they can't take a shower, where stuff doesn't land on the table? I mean, it would be the most disgusting mess ever. I have a video on my channel, DITRH, called I Have to Go to the Bathroom on the International Space Station. And it is a mind blower. When you watch that, you'll be like, wait a minute. Okay.
Who does
it is
this?
The craziest, most disgusting thing you've ever put into your thought.
I'll be sure to not eat before, and I probably won't.
I mean, it's not. No, there's nothing. They're not showing someone go to the bathroom.
I was like,
they're showing you how the toilet works. Okay, it is the most hysterical, ridiculous nonsense you've ever seen, and they filmed it in a whole bunch of clips on a zero-G plane. A zero-G plane is a plane that does a parabolic arc. And you get a little bit of floatiness for a little bit of time. So you went to why the lie? Why the and so what if with all the money that we pay in taxes and everything, what if they're using this money for technology that they're never going to share with us? What if there's cures for diseases like the most common disease that begins with a C, right? What if there's already cures for that? You know what would happen if a cure for the C word came out? The economy would be finished. Cancer. Well, I said it. I'm trying to stay away from the bots. There is all sorts of cures out there for all of that stuff. There's all sorts of technology. What if they allowed what's technically called free energy to come out? What if you had something the size of a roll of quarters that can heat and cool your house for the next 100 years, and you never
They
have to
don't allow
replace
free energy for a very good reason,
it.
because
And
then
that
they
thing,
can't make money off of you. Right.
another roll of those quarters, whatever powers your car, you never need to refuel it. Okay.
Right.
You know, they had the water car. The guy made a car that runs on water. Well, he's dead. Okay. And that technology is gone.
Yeah.
And so what if you didn't have to pay for fuel, electricity? That would free up a little bit of time. What if they allowed us to go explore the outer worlds? Hey, I'm not saying what's out there. I think I know what's out there, right? Well, we want the right to go explore. So what they did, well, you know what? It would be tough to take an airplane out there because we're going to get fuel. But what about an airship? What about an airship? Well, they demonized hydrogen with the Hindenburg, another false flag, and or a hoax, whatever you want to call it. And then NASA controls all of the helium in the world. There's always just enough helium for party balloons, right? There's always a shortage of helium. And when in fact there's infinite helium. Okay, so they've limited us from expanding. So now they have us believing it's not the shape that matters, it's the light that matters. They have us believing that we live on a speck, okay? We live on a speck of dust flying through an infinite, godless universe, okay? A godless or distant God at best universe where an asteroid could take us out at any moment. That's not real.
Right.
Where we're running out of food and water. That's not true. Opposite is true. We're overpopulated. If there are 8 billion people, like they say, every family could have an acre in Australia and some of Australia would still be empty. Okay. We're not overpopulated, right? We're afraid of all of this stuff. Nuclear bombs. You know that nuclear bombs don't exist? What a minute. Wait a minute. Nuclear bombs don't exist.
I did not know that. I thought we created that.
No. It's all fear. 3 days after Hiroshima and Nagasaki, trains were running, sandwich shops were open, flower shops were open, and people were back to work. And only one specific guy was allowed to take pictures and write news articles. Anyone else that took a picture or an article was put in jail. Okay, what are they hiding? There is people, plants, and animals thriving in both of those places since the bombs went off. There's less cancer there than here in the United States. It's all a lie. And now that we've exposed this so much, they listen to our stuff. Neil deGrasse Tyson on Bill Maher just the other day backpedaled again. They're always moving the goalpost. He goes, nuclear bombs don't have radiation anymore. Not like you used to think. They're literally removing radiation from nuclear bombs. So what is a nuclear bomb? It's just a big bomb. That's it. There's video of them piling up TNT at ground zero. Dynamite, skids and skids of it at ground zero before the bomb, before the explosion. Okay. So why does that matter with what I'm talking about? Because that keeps you in fear. You watch the news, which is steering your mind, north, east, west, south, news, steering with the headlines, worry lines in your forehead. And you watch and they're like, oh, Russia's gonna nuke us. You know, every cell in your body that's thriving for health is now in fear. It's in distress. It's in dis-ease.
Right.
Disease.
That's how you get it.
And so they have you in this. They have you like, oh my God, government, please help me. Let me, send my children to war. Crazy stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Buy all your pharmaceutical drugs, which are poison.
Right. All of that, and pharmaceutical, allopathic medicine. I was like, when I used to see my medicine cabinet, it looks like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. It's all tinctures and all sorts of It's amazing. It's so awesome. Like when something's wrong, which is rarely, I'm like, oh, I've got this, I've got that, and I used to laugh at people that use essential oils for stuff, right? And I'm like, how could that little tiny drop do anything? But then I hurt my back and I went to the doctor and he gave me a muscle relaxant. And it was this tiny, tiny little pill. And I took it and woo, right? The pain was gone. I was like jello. I'm like, how did this thing work? So then I did some research on this pill. And I found out that like 99% of the pill is just filler. And it's only 1% of it that's the active ingredient.
Wow.
And it was tiny to start with. I'm like, oh, these molecules are really powerful. And if you look at allopathic medicine, it's all just trying to mimic the natural stuff. They make it from petroleum to mimic what nature's feeding us. Okay. Nature knows. Nature makes oxygen. We like oxygen. Okay. Yeah. Nature makes radiant energy, which all of our cells need, life force energy. It makes all of this. And they're trying to screw all this stuff up. So why the lie? We're getting there. If you believe you're an insignificant speck flying through infinite nowhere, that you have no power, If you
Right.
don't know that your thoughts create your reality, your thoughts create your reality. Everyone, look at your life. It's your fault. Okay. Whatever your life is, good or bad, it's your fault. It's the way that you think. Well, that's not true. Absolutely is true. Your thoughts create your reality. They don't want you to know that. They don't
Right.
want you to know that you can manifest things into, when you think of a thought, good thought or bad thought, I love this or I hate this. Both of those things are being the universe, for lack of a better word, is contriving. Is that the right word? To is contriving to give you what you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's trying to let it in. You are your own worst enemy for everything. Okay? It's amazing when you clean up your thoughts the way that you think, everything changes.
Yeah,
Everything
it's so
changes.
true.
So they don't want you to know that. The only people that have any power over you, over your free will, is in your imagination. Okay?
Mm.
Nobody is allowed to break God-given free will. We're not given rights by the government. We're given rights by God. And the
Right.
government tries to take them away and get us to agree. By the way, if you agree to something, like if you say, "Oh, fill out this
Mm-hmm.
1040," okay, and then well, now you owe that,
Mm-hmm.
okay, because you just made a contract,
Right.
okay,
Oh, we're getting into this
yeah.
some other stuff that I like
So
love as
yeah,
well. I'm
so
gonna need to have you back.
yeah, so when so it's all about controlling your mind because so what I'm showing here on my app is the friend finder. Okay, and let me just jump to a worldview. On the app, you can find other flat earthers near you, and you can message them. Right here comes let's go the United States.
Oh, whoa.
There's people everywhere. We just broke 80,000
Wow.
just today, I think. And there's so many people that have the app that don't even have the friend finder. But every single blue dot on this map
That's so
is
cool.
an awake and aware, sexy person. Male, female, doesn't matter. They are an attractive, awake and aware. Listen,
Is this a dating app?
by the way, it's become a dating app. It's become a job app. It's become
That's so
a
cool.
campaigning app. I was just on with the Georgia governor, Taylor. What was her name? She ran for governor. She didn't win. But she sees it and she can use it as a campaign app. Because I told her, I said, as Flat Earth grows, she's a flat earther. Every single one of those blue dots in Georgia, which is crazy, there's so many of them, can vote for her. So on the app, I could say, hey, I'm going to select 50 kilometers, and everybody within 50 kilometers, I can send a message. There's 477 people. I can send a message. Hey, I'm having a meetup at Rico's Pizza, 4 p.m. Saturday. Come on, come on, come all. And it's and it's a way to meet people. And there's already people, so many relationships, some babies have happened already, jobs have
Oh my
happened. Like if I
gosh.
needed to hire somebody, I'm going to send a radius message out to people in my area. Like, hey,
Right.
I've got this job opening, or I have a friend that has this job opening. And on your profile, you can put, hey, I'm interested in work or not. So you can pull up information. It literally has become a networking device to
That's so
bring us
cool.
together, because together we're super powerful,
Yeah.
right? Divided
Yeah.
is how they want us. They want us divided and
Yes.
gagged and, poisoned and everything else. So
So amazing. There's so much, Dave. Like we need a whole nother we need a whole nother episode to continue because I even want to go into um what the then concept is like of what the earth actually then looks like. If it's not the CNN version, right, then what does it actually look like? And go even beyond like Antarctica and all of that. We need a part two, probably a part three and a part four. So, but
let,
I
let- let
wanted
me just
to,
let me start. Remember your point. One thing.
yes,
So what if we lived here? This is our pond. Here's Antarctica, the frozen part, and then out
yeah,
here there's another sun that circles around. What is this? More land. What's another word for more? Extra, right? What's
right,
another word for land? Territory.
yeah.
Extra territory. Shorten that up. Extra terra. If somebody lived out here in this outer space, and they came from the extra terra, what might you label them? An extraterrestrial from outer space.
Yeah.
Here on a scientifically possible Earth versus Narnia space, which is
Right.
scientifically impossible.
Dave, this has been so amazing just to to go through and just for me, I'm like I'm blonde and I'm total novice. Like I've heard some things like thrown around, but I've never actually had a conversation and don't really know anybody that believes in this or is researching this themselves. So this has been like super informative, and I hope that anyone who is similar to me who's like, I don't know how many rotations we do a day, or
You
like, you're not stupid, I said it too.
you have common sense. You have God-given common
Yeah.
sense. It's
Yeah.
everybody has it, but we were taught to
Yes.
throw it away for nonsense. Okay,
Yeah. For
nonsense.
information that we're not supposed to ask why and all of that. I totally
Imagine
agree.
if you were no education, you were just born and there's no communication, no Twitter, no internet, no nothing. You lived your whole life and you live on a lake and you grow food and your life is great. You have a local community and you knew nothing about the earth. And I said, hey, I know something about the earth. We're spinning in a space vacuum, orbiting and twirling and whirling. And I show you the hypersonic sled track. We're going 10 times and 100 times faster than this.
Yeah.
And you would look at me and go, get out of here. You would just
Yeah.
say, there's no way I could convince you of that. But we've been brainwashed before we can talk. Sesame
Yeah.
Street.
Yeah.
Okay. Werner von
Yep.
Braun was best friends who ran NASA, started NASA,
Yep.
best friends with Walt Disney.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That says
Astronauts on
something.
Walt Disney. They teach you in school, young kids, they're taught about the solar system. It's one of the first things.
Right.
Go into a toy store, dinosaurs, space, Buzz Lightyear. It's all nonsense. Dinosaurs didn't exist either. You know that, right?
Nope.
Oh boy.
Oh
Oh,
boy.
oh
Part
boy.
3. There's so much, Dave, and it's like I'm so glad that there's people like you out in the world and making this super accessible. So where can people go? I see the website here, but can you say it for those who are listening?
So my TikTok, my YouTube channels, my interview channels, my Instagram, my book Flat Earth Dave, my app, everything, the Flat Earth Crash Course, which is on my website, free to take, is all at flatearthdave.com. It actually goes to theflatearthpodcast.com, but people forget the and they're like, what? Flatearthdave.com. That's all you need.
Cool.
Everything's there. If you have a show with an audience that would like to be introduced into this most important topic, right? All the nonsense that's going on in the world, the way they get away with it is we are lost in space, spinning out of control. We don't know who we are, where we are, what we are. We don't know that our thoughts create reality. There's so much more to it. And they're hiding the creator. They're hiding this creation. We are the benefactors, the beneficiaries, not the benefactors, the beneficiaries of this creation. And the government has inserted themselves in between the creator and man. They believe it's creator, government, man. No, it's creator, man, government. We're standing on them.
There's so much to that we can definitely go into in our next episode. So I'm going to get with you for that. But I just want to say thank you so much for this conversation. We could go on and on and on. There's so much here. And so I definitely want to have you back to continue this conversation because it's so important. So thank you so much for the work you do.
Thanks, Whitney.